Well, season 2 of Chucky is officially in the books. And if you could do me a favor, I'd like you to in the comment section, let me know what you would rate this. Is this an A? Is this a B, a C, a D, an F? What is it? Because I can't get a grasp on what the consensus is for this series. To me, I go and I lurk online. I look at like fan forums. I look at the Chucky subreddit. Seems to me that the fan base is definitely divided in two over this TV series. Seems like the younger audience is like, yeah, we love it. We eat it up. We can't wait every single week to go check out what is going to happen because it's irreverent and it's campy and zany and fun and it's very seed of Chucky. And then you have the other side. It's like, yeah, it's very seed of Chucky. And I hate that. I like the OG stuff. I like original Child's Play. It's where he was an actual horror icon and he was scary and menacing and sinister and there were stakes and you had characters you invested in like Andy and Karen Barkley. I don't get that anymore. And I got to say, when I started this season, I was kind of in camp one, I was like, this seems like it's going to be a much stronger season than season 1. A lot of people love season 1. I thought it was a mixed bag. And it seemed like a lot of the things that I saw as faults with that first season had been smoothed out. Case in point, the young actors, I thought their performances were much better. I thought the show just looked great. It looked sleek and stylish. I liked a lot of the homages we were doing early on. I thought we were getting some great atmosphere. And I was like, man, where are we going to go with this Catholic school setting? But as things progressed, I started to feel like we didn't necessarily have a great handle on where things were going to go at the end of this season and beyond. Where I even started to question, like, does Dom Mancini even know? Because a lot of this seems like it's coming off the hip. They're just kind of making things up and we are wheeling and dealing on the go. That we're just kind of doing a veritable grab bag of ideas and homages. We're like, ooh, I like that movie. Ooh, I got to give Brian De Palma in every episode. Let's throw this here. Let's throw this there. You know what would be crazy? I've never seen this happen. Let's just make that happen. And then we can go to that. We can go to that set piece, and they can do this. And then, can you imagine if a dude blew up? Can you imagine if a doll just started spewing vomit everywhere? That'd be crazy. But we are just doing things to do it, to be irreverent, to be fun, and it can be a little bit of entertainment. But it stops being entertaining when you start to realize that everything is hollow. We're not going anywhere. So, for an example of what I'm talking about here, think about your protagonists here. Who would you say your protagonists are? Probably Jake, right? And Jake and Devin, that relationship. So after season 1, you think going into season 2, okay, in the wake of season 2, I'm going to understand these two so much more. I'm going to have an intimate knowledge of who they are, what they're about. They're going to struggle with all sorts of new things in season 2, and we're going to explore that. We're going to really see this great, unraveling or unfettering of their relationship, or maybe they'll come together in a new way. Didn't really happen. It didn't happen at all, to where very much at the end of season 2, they're essentially the same exact characters they were at the end of season 1. Don't really know a whole lot more about them. Lexi, yeah, she had like a brief little very CW run-in with drugs, but it was done in a very mundane, cliche fashion. Not a whole lot to talk about there. We got to meet some new characters along the way. Nadine was a fan favorite, but you know what? Sayonara, nice to know she's gone already. Nika, she's fun while you get her, but they throw her in there sparingly. They don't seem to know exactly where we're going with that. They did kind of set up some fun stuff at the end of this episode, but will she have a dominating presence in season 3, or will she just show up like every other episode like she did this time around? Because at this point, it seems like Fiona Dorff is your best. She's your MVP. She's doing the most. She's doing the best, aside from maybe her father, Brad Dorff, who's doing all sorts of crazy, cool voice acting. That is definitely a strong suit of season 2. I will give it that. We had Brad Dorff taking on all sorts of different Chuckies, all sorts of different variations, and lending a little bit of personality and uniqueness to each voice portrayal, and that was wonderful. But all the other characters, did you really latch onto them? Did you really get to know them? Did you really care a whole bunch? Or you're just like, let's just see Chucky do some crazy shit? That's essentially what we're doing at this point, and it's never scary. And there are no stakes. And it's just kind of puzzling, because this is truly a show at this point where it's so freaking weird and you don't know what's going to happen from week to week, that you could tell people that, hey, if you watch Chucky, anything can happen. And usually when you say anything can happen, and you're talking about a movie or TV show, that is an uber compliment. Because you think about a show like Game of Thrones. When that came out, man, people were buzzing. There was such word of mouth because you had to watch Game of Thrones, because anything can happen. There are going to be these characters that you're going to be so invested in. But guess what? Writers don't give a shit. They could be killed off in a moment's notice. And it's going to be in a cruel, just gory, horrendous, heartbreaking fashion. And you're like, whoa, I got to watch that. Those are some real stakes. That's going to have me on the edge of my seat. With Chucky, anything can happen, but not in a scary, intense, get you on the edge of your seat type of way. In a way that first, like, whoa, that was crazy. Can't believe they did that. And you're like, oh, well, they didn't really go anywhere. They just kind of did it to do it. Oh, we're doing this now. Oh, we're doing that. To where after like 5 or 6 episodes, you get to the point that you're like, you know what? If you told me next week on Chucky that Chucky is going to find a magical leprechaun flute and play it and do a jig and summon a leprechaun rainbow demon who is going to then ride his unicorn and stab Devin through the heart. But Devin will be brought back when Jake comes over, holds his limp corpse up, and gives him a true love's kiss on the lips. You'd believe it. That's how crazy this freaking series has gotten. That's how crazy this show has gotten. And you go back and you watch that first Child's Play movie and Child's Play 2, and it is just jarring. To me, season 2 definitely proves that Don Mancini most likely doesn't have a hard and fast outline on where we are going and how things have to happen and how they're going to happen on time and on a schedule. I almost feel like he's just trying to go for as long as he can. As long as the checks will cash, he's just going to keep making more seasons. I would prefer that he just come out and go, okay, guys, look, we did get renewed. We're going to do 4 seasons. I have it all under wraps. I know we are going with Nika. I know if there's going to be a triumph for Tiffany and Chucky. I know how that's going to play out. I know what we're going to do with the voodoo. I know what's going to happen for Jake and Devin. It is all ready to go. But it doesn't feel that way. It just feels like we're making crap up, and it's not working for me. To me, you look at season 2 and you just go, look, all the respect for Don Mancini. I love what he has done with this character and this IP. I love the homages at times. It's fun, and it has a place. It does, but he needs help. He needs to collaborate, because when Child's Play at its best, he's always had somebody there to reel him in or just share ideas and do a mind meld with, whether that be John Lafayette, whether that be Tom Holland, whether that be Ronnie Yu making Bride of Chucky just badass and stylish and cool in a very unique fashion that just breathed all this atmosphere that is undeniable and did something to bolster the character and the story to make it stand out and to pop. We are kind of lacking that. He needs somebody else to come into the fray. He needs to sacrifice some ego and understand that at the end of the day, yes, he is the father of this series, but that is okay. Share custody, Don, because your kid, your baby, it needs it, all right? We just need a little bit more. This is not sustainable. I think, in my mind, and I think a lot of fans' minds, you're starting to really hurt the legacy of this character because it's just weird and wacky and fun for the sake of being weird, wacky, and fun. You need more. You need substance. You can't just live off of cotton candy. We need nutrition. Can we get some nutrition in this franchise? We need sustenance, and we're just not getting it. So those are my thoughts on this season. I thought it was mostly a letdown. There was some cool, crazy stuff. That is absolutely true. And every week you're going to get something that entertains you at least a little bit, but you're oftentimes going to get stuff that felt hammy, it felt over the top, it made you balk, made you roll your eyes, or at least it did for me. I don't know that I would come back in season 3 and do a week-by-week recap, and I ended up going on a hiatus this season because I just didn't want to watch every week and then get on the camera and just poo-poo the thing and just be super negative and shit all over something that other people may be enjoying. So I wanted to say that towards the end. Let me know, am I on an island here? Am I the only person who feels like sour grapes, or do you guys feel the same way? Either way, I got to ask you something. Have yourself a great day. I'm Nate for Nate Merflick saying that's a wrap.